She's being left.
Let me just say this.
Be fair. Who did you want to talk about? Who do you want to talk about?
Let me just say this. I want to talk about Phil Foden.
And the reason why...
No. 1 second. The reason why I want to talk about Phil Foden...
Gal, to be fair, I would be as annoyed at Phil Foden if he dunked on my team's league title chances as well as he did last season.
The thing is...
I've watched that West Ham game and gone, God damn it, this little prick.
1 second. I don't remember Phil Foden ever dunking on Arsenal, as he doesn't show up in those kind of games. But
I mean, I did say your league campaign generally. I remember him dunking on West Ham on the last day of the season, for example.
When it comes to Mo Salah, when it comes to Eden Hazard, when it comes to Gareth Bale, when it comes to Kevin De Bruyne, when it comes to Erling Haaland, they're held to a standard and they perform the following season.
I'm not being funny. Foden is not on the level of any of those players.
Guess what? Because he won Premier League Player this season, and PFA Player this season, he's going to be judged on the same level as those players. Even though you guys want to prop him up to that level, but when he is held to the same standard,
what I want to do is prop him up to the level in the requisite season.
Guess what? Because he has performed to that level and he's been put up on that pedestal by your fans, yourself, saying he deserved Player of the Season over Rodri.
Last season he did, yes.
Speak on it.
So you want him to be what? The Player of the Season every year? Like what we're doing here?
No. Oh, wait, hold on.
I've not interrupted you. You haven't let me finish a sentence without interrupting me. You interrupting me does not make your point proven correctly. Let me finish and then you can understand what I'm saying. First things first.
Say something intelligible.
Okay, my main point is you win Player of the Season, you win PFA Player of the Season, you are held to the standard as one of the best in the league. And in order to be one of the best in the league, you have to perform to the same level or adequate level as you have the previous season to be respected as one of the greats. Every single one of the greats in the past have come out off the back of their good seasons, unless they've gotten injured or something crazy happened, like the manager and everyone at Chelsea fell off the season after. They mostly perform. Now, you just said it 2 seconds ago. I think Phil Foden is being super protected. He is not performing for England. He's not performing for Man City right now. And overall, he's not being held to the same standard that the people have been held to in past years. And I have the question to be said, was he deserving a Player of the Year? Is Rodri the actual Player of the Year as he won the Ballon d'Or? And also,
don't give him that.
My final little thing to tie the bow is Phil Foden as good as we actually say he is, or is he a person who's successful due to the great system and team that you have around him? And he was propped up by the fact that you didn't have any other City player to point at last season.
Right. The inference that he's a system player at the end is bollocks, because Pep changes the system about 3 or 4 times a year. So I don't know where that's come from. In the first instance.
One second. What
happened to the not interrupting? That's curious.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you.
You interrupted 7 times.
Oh, we're keeping count. Okay, Faz.
Nobbins is elite, by the way.
Once again, in terms of the issues that City have experienced this season, I don't know why Foden's the first name out of your mouth. Again, clearly upset about what happened last season. That's perfectly understandable. I appreciate that. I'd be upset as well if an Arsenal player did likewise and ruined my team's chances of winning the title. I'd also be concerned and upset. I don't know why I say like Foden's not been playing well this season. Again, I don't know how much of City you've watched, but when he's started, he's been very good. For example, he was the reason why we won against Wolves. He should have had about 3 assists against Southampton. Should have had numerous assists against Bournemouth, against Sporting, even against Brighton. So I don't really know where it's coming from that he's been playing badly this season. Is it the same level as last season? Nope, I don't think that's up for contention.
Nobbins.
1 second, are you done?
Hello, Conley.
1 second, are you done?
I'm never done.
Okay, first things first. You just went and deflected with your first point. You did not address any of the points that I made with Rodri, with the fact that
most of your points were nonsensical tripe.
based on 1 second, just because you think something nonsensical doesn't mean that it has
Okay, I'll rephrase. In my opinion, most of your sentences was not nonsensical tripe. Is that better?
Okay, and you did not make an argument in why Phil Foden is still not.
I think
My main thing is talking about last season is a deflection because we acknowledge that last season he was good, but he was not still deserving a player of the season. And number two, the system player, just throwing it out the window saying he's not a system player because Pep changed his system. Guess what? Has he performed for England? I can answer that. No.
You've gone too far. That's what I'm saying.
Has he shown?
Oh, you've lost Kunle. Crazy.
Has he shown this season that he can step up and do it when the team needs him? No, he has not. And finally, finally, for you to say because he should have had a couple of assists for this team, he should have had a goal versus this team. Well, he doesn't. And to say he's playing well because the underlining numbers and XG is saying he should have more goals is bullshit.
Right.
Because we could
should have more goals.
Because you're basically saying he's underperforming his XG, hence why he's playing well.
That's not what I said. That's
basically what you said. You said he's
playing
playing well.
Expected goals once. Hello, for Foden.
Is Phil Foden playing well? Yes or no?
Yeah, he is actually. He's been one of our best players since he started.
He's got 4 GA in 4 games in the Champions League.
Oh wait. So, like, let's be honest. Nobbins knows what he's doing here. Like, let me just break it all down.
Argument right there.
Let me because he knew that he was protecting his boy Phil from off camera before. We knew he was going to do that. So what he done first of all is kind of downplay the achievement of winning PFA Player of the Year. That's the first thing he tried to do. He tried to downplay that. That's not spectacular. Like players that win that, they're held in high stature. That's the standard. You even said the Premier League, Eagle. Around the world, the PFL Player of the Year in the Premier League gets lauded around the world. So now spotlight is on them. If they start the season slow, there's gonna be scrutiny on them naturally. So complaining about it don't really make any sense other than the fact that you're trying to downplay his achievement last season or protect the player. And it sounds like you're trying to protect the player because he deserves the spotlight. He's the man. He's the one that helped you lift the title last season. How is he not supposed to get this scrutiny? Why does it matter if we're mentioning him first or mention him as the 5th player on our mouth? It doesn't matter, Nobbins. He's still not up to the same standard that he was putting together last season. And you lot need him.
That's not in dispute. But what is in dispute is that it's even like a top 5 issue at City. Because again, when he's actually come back into the team following his injury, he's been one of the best players for City. I'll repeat.
But that hasn't shown in your performances.
Wait, but you just said he's been
Which
good.
games have you watched though? Because it has. Like it has.
So you lot have been playing well the last 5 games, or what?
You know you're gaslighting us, right? You know you're gaslighting us into telling us what we're watching is good.
Just because City haven't played well doesn't mean Foden hasn't played well.
City have been tripe.
You think Foden's been good?
Okay, so Henry has Foden been
playing
well.
He's been good, but he hasn't been to his standard in the Premier League, but he's been their best player in the Champions League this season.
And that's the standard we have to hold him to now because he's the man last season. We have to
I agree he deserved criticism, but he's not.
But Conley, which games has he started?
I'm not saying he's rubbish. I'm saying he started slow and he needs to step up. His team needed.
I'll just do this argument in. Last season, Rasmus Højlund didn't score in the Premier League for the first couple games, but he was killing in the Champions League. So all of a sudden, because he was killing in the Champions League, we should overlook everything he's doing in the league for Phil Foden. That doesn't apply to the same logic that we apply to other players. So why is Phil Foden the most overprotected player in the Premier League?
Hang on, sorry, Gal. Sorry to be the sort of logic police. Did Nobbins have that logic last season? Because if not, then it's an irrelevant.
Very good question. Well brought out.
Hang on, but you're debating Nobbins. You're not debating people at large. And if Nobbins didn't have that logic last season, it's an irrelevant point to throw at him now.
No, but my point is people are using his performances in the Champions League as a cog to protect Phil Foden and say he's not been that bad. So I'm saying
bring up the Champions League.
I know you didn't. Henry.
How many Premier League minutes has he played?
Hence why when Henry brought up that point, we have to mention the fact that other players are not held to the same standard. Where when they're performing in one competition, but they're still not performing in the league, they're looked at as why are you not performing in the league? And if I'm not mistaken, he didn't win Champions League Player of the Season. That was Rodri. He did not win. Did he not win Premier League Player of the Season? Did he not win PFA Player of the Season? So why is he not performing in England? But all of a sudden he's performing in the Champions League. We have to ask these questions.
We don't mind if you're saying he was overrated last season, Nobbins. If that's what you're saying, then we can start a whole different conversation. We don't mind.
What game that Foden started, or rather games, because Igal says he's not played well at all. Which games specifically are you talking about, Igal? You muted.
I would rather flip it on you and tell you, ask you which games was he
Well,
good.
no, I've asked you, so I'd rather you didn't answer my question with a question. I'd rather you answer my question with an answer, please.
Where was he versus Bournemouth?
Pardon?
Where was he on the pitch versus Bournemouth for 90 minutes? What did he do?
Did you watch the game against Bournemouth?
Yes, I did, but I'm asking you, what did he do for 90 minutes?
Well, he should have had 2 assists in that first half of crosses to Haaland, for example.
Okay, so we're doing shouldas now.
Right, okay. Well, this is insanity, isn't it? Because if a player should have an assist, do you not think that tells you that the issue is with the striker converting said chance? What are we doing here?
1 second, but going back to that actual game and looking at the stats, he only created 1 chance.
Right. Do you know what that means, though? Do you know what stats you've just parroted at me? What is a chance created?
When you get a shot on target.
Right, okay. So surely you can look at that and go, that is bollocks as a stat.
Okay, but you're backing your point with what, obviously with the eye test, but I'm telling you what the player did on that day, he did not do enough.
If he creates the chance, Gal,
you just tried to tell me that it is no, not 1 bloody second. You just tried to tell me that it is irrelevant how good the pass is because if it wasn't converted, it's irrelevant. How is that
you're basically
sensical logic?
You're basically 1 second. You're basically saying Phil Foden had a good 90 minutes because you lost versus Bournemouth, which yes, they beat us Arsenal too. I know that, but getting 2 chances, creating 2 assists throughout a whole 90 minutes is not enough. Do more. You are the player of the season.
If Haaland scored those goals now.
You are Manchester City. You are one of the best. So to confirm,
so what you've just said there is, if he did get the 2 assists, you've just outed yourself as someone who would go, that still isn't good enough.
No.
Gets 2 assists in a game. I'm sorry, that sounds pretty good to me.
Bro, you lost the game. He didn't come out with any goals or assists. What are we talking about?
I've told you why he didn't
Egal,
get
what did Foden do
assists.
to you?
Egal.
No, but how are you guys?
Nina, we know what he did to him. He took the league title away from him. We know exactly what he did. It's fine.
1 second.
But you've got to at least have a good argument. Kunle's argument was a little bit better. This is madness, though.
How on earth are we sitting here and saying he would have had 2 assists as the bar and he had a good game? So Saka had a good game then because he should have had an assist.
So can I ask you let me ask you a question here. Let me ask you let me ask you a question, please. What didn't he do enough of in that game for you? What wasn't he doing in that game?
He did not create enough. He did not get a goal, and his team did not get over the line. Hence why
Yes. Okay, no, slow down. When you say his team didn't do enough, okay, cool. What didn't Foden do that stopped his team from doing enough?
The team needs to go and get a goal or an assist. Phil Foden is supposed to be one of their chief creators and one of their chief goal scorers. If Erling Haaland doesn't get the assist, if Erling Haaland can't finish the chance, fair enough. He technically only created 1 chance statistically in the game. If you want to say he created 2 chances, fair enough. But my whole thing is, we are not judging players on 1 chance they created, 2 chances they created for the 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute match. He did not do enough over the 90 minutes to win them the game.
He achieved, I'm sorry to be the stats police here, but you brought them up, so I guess I will. 0.69 expected assists for 1 90-minute game is a very high amount, FYI. A very high amount. That is like a Kevin De Bruyne level amount of creation via a pass, FYI.
So 1 second. In what world is 1 chance that's created throughout a 90-minute basically allow you to not do anything else for the rest of the game?
But that doesn't make any sense, because if you're bringing up his stats, so if Haaland would have finished that chance, then you'd be sitting here saying that Foden had a good game then, because you're bringing up the lack of GA.
Okay.
That's not Foden's fault that Haaland didn't finish.
Even if that is relevant, I'm not talking about.
It is relevant. You said it.
1 second. Even if what you're saying is your defense to Foden, in what world is the defense to a team losing and that one of their best players, the player of the season the following season, is this guy didn't finish his chance. So
but if Haaland finished that chance, then maybe they win the game. And then you're saying that Foden had a good game.
Sorry. Please stop.
Terry, I need to finish this one sentence.
No, hang on.
No other player has ever been held to this standard where we're saying everybody else in their team has to deliver and they are just sitting back.
So then how many chances should he have created that game? So if he had the 1 big one for Haaland, so you're saying that he needed 5 more.
No, he needed more. The team lost.
How many? How
I can't
many?
give you a judgment of exactly how many.
Yeah,
but
so
you
then
should-
Egal, for me, in that Egal, for me, in that game,
then
for me,
we're talking about
Foden
him
wasn't
having a good
taking
game.
enough
So it's kinda
risks.
weird.
He wasn't carrying the ball enough when the team needed him to step up. That's what I saw. He wasn't taking enough risks.
That was a point I was going to
Right.
make, Egal. I asked you a question
and
about what didn't he do enough of, and your response was basically he didn't create enough chances and City didn't score goals. But I'm asking you, what actions did he not undertake that led to that? And that's all we were asking for. Viewers, look, give us your thoughts, give us your feedback.